topic. Okay, so this is basically the theoretical part. So at the beginning, we have seen the introduction of earthquake resistant design of structures, and then we have seen the numericals to find out the design forces at each level, and then the base shear. And then the last topic is ductile detailing. So now let us see. So these are the syllabus modules. So currently we are doing the fifth module, earthquake resistant design of structures. And then after this, we have the last module, that is pre-stressed concrete. So in this, we have seen the introduction part. Then we have seen the design forces calculation by seismic coefficient method. So today we are going to start with ductile design and detailing as per IS 13920. Okay. So basically there are two codes. The earthquake resistant design of structure, we have IS 1893, and for ductile design and detailing, we have IS 13920. Okay, so don't get confused. For earthquake resistant design of structures, it is IS 1893. And for ductile design, we have a separate code only for ductile design and detailing, that is IS 13920. So now before starting with this topic, ductile design and detailing. So before starting with ductile design, let us understand what do you mean by ductility. Okay, so anyone is aware of the meaning of the term ductility? What do you understand? I think you must have come across this term before also. So anyone can tell me just generally if whatever you understand from this. It doesn't matter if it is right or wrong. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Is it? Yes, is my screen visible, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, anyone? Ductility? Okay. It is the ability of any metal to be drawn into wires. Okay, so Shorabji is saying it is the ability of any material to be drawn into wires. Ductility and malleability. So you must have heard these two terms. Okay, so that is correct. So basically, ductility is nothing but the ability of a material to get deformed. Okay, so basically, it should be the deformation should be there without affecting the strength of the member. So that is nothing but your ductility. So now let us understand what is ductility in terms of the earthquake resistant design of structures. So ductility is defined as the capability of a material or the structural component or the entire structure to undergo deformation after its initial yield without any significant reduction in the yield strength. So basically, what is the meaning of this? So I have given one more definition, or it can be defined as the ability of a material to undergo large deformation without rupture before failure. Okay, in simple terms, you can understand like this. It is nothing but the ability of a material to undergo large deformation without failure. Okay. So now how this is important in earthquake resistant design of buildings. So that we will see. So here I have written the basic approach of earthquake resistant structure should be based on the lateral strength as well as deformability and ductility capacity of structure with limited damage but no collapse. Okay, so what should be the approach whenever we are designing an earthquake resistant structure? The approach should be like this. इट शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन द लैटरल स्ट्रेंथ. ठीक है, सो जो अर्थक्वेक है वो फोर्सेस कैसे डेवलप होंगे व्हेन द ग्राउंड इज शेकिंग. सो देयर इज अ लैटरल मूवमेंट ऑफ द बिल्डिंग. देयर इज नो ग्रेविटी लोड्स. ठीक है, सो वी आर डिजाइनिंग फॉर द लैटरल लोड्स. लैटरल लोड में हॉरिजॉन्टल वर्टिकल डायरेक्शन में द स्ट्रक्चर विल वाइब्रेट. So that is something we have to take care of when we are designing an earthquake resistant structure. So that's what it is mentioned. It should be based on the lateral strength of the structure as well as the structure should be able to deform. That is deformability and ductility capacity of the structure with limited damage, but no collapse. So that is the objective, or that is the goal whenever we are designing an earthquake resistant structure. And IS 13920 is based on this approach. Okay, so what I'm talking about is the IS 13920 is based on this approach. So now let us see what are the requirements for ductility. Okay, so there are two main reasons for ductility requirement. First is it allows the structure as a whole to develop its maximum potential strength. And the second one is large structural ductility allows the structure to move as a mechanism under its maximum potential strength. So what are the two main reasons for the ductility? The two main reasons are it allows the structure as a whole to develop its maximum potential strength. That is the first reason, to develop the strength to resist the lateral forces. The second one is large structural ductility. It helps the structure to move as a mechanism, okay? To move as a whole, structure when there is lateral displacement under its maximum potential strength. So these are the two main reasons of the ductility requirement. Why is ductility required? Then, in order to achieve a ductile structure, importance is given on three areas during the design process. So now let us see what are those three areas. First is the overall design concept for the building must be sound. Okay. The design concept as usual should be perfect. Then individual members must be designed for ductility. Okay. One more thing we have to take care of, that is individual members should be designed for ductility. What are the individual members? What are the structural components we are talking about here? We are talking about the structural components. So what are the structural components or the structural element in a building? Anyone? What are the structural elements in a building?
Footings, columns,
Columns,
beams,
beams,
slabs.
slabs. Perfect. ठीक है, तो structural element मतलब क्या होता है? Beam is your structural element, column is a structural element, slab is a structural element, and footing is a structural element. Why it is called a structural element? Because we have to design these elements. Now can anyone tell me what are the non-structural elements in a building?
Walls.
Absolutely correct. ठीक है, the walls and the roofs, these are the non-structural elements of a building. Perfect. So the individual members must be designed for ductility. Matlab your beam, your column, that should be designed individually for ductility. And then connection is one more very important aspect which you have to consider in the earthquake resistant design. Connection and other structural details need careful attention. So these are the three areas we have to take care of in the design process. Now let us move on. What is the significance of ductility? So let us see what is the importance of ductility. If ductile members are used to form a structure, the structure can undergo large deformations before failure. Okay, so the basic concept क्या है? Whenever the building is under the earthquake loading, it should be able to resist those forces without damage or without failure. ठीक है, तो अगर ductility building में है, so it can absorb the vibrations. Correct? If it can absorb the vibrations by dissipating some energy, then the building will remain safe. If the building is very rigid, if it is not able to dissipate any energy, then there is a chances of complete failure of the structure. I hope this is clear to everyone. So if ductile members are used to form a structure, the structure can undergo large deformations before failure. So that is what we want. This is beneficial to the users of the structure, as in case of overloading, if the structure is to collapse, it will undergo large deformations before failure. So again, the basic concept of RCC, that it should not behave as a sudden failure. It should give sufficient warning before failure. So that objective is being satisfied here. This gives a notice to the occupants and provides sufficient time for taking preventive measures. So that is the significance. What next? Structures are subjected to unexpected overloads load reversals, impact and structural movements due to the foundation settlement also. So these are some of the other reasons because of which there might be a vibration in the building. There might be a settlement in the building. Okay, even if you have noticed that if a building is constructed near to your building, okay, very proximity of the building, and some foundation work is going on over there. So even if the work is going on of the foundation, you can see that you can experience some vibrations in your own building. So that is the effect of the other loads. Okay, so if some excavation is going on, so even that vibration you can feel in your building. So the foundation settlement and volume changes. So these items are generally ignored in the analysis and design. If a structure is ductile, then these things are taken care by some ductility in the structure. Okay, ये जो these some other aspects which I have just mentioned, like foundation settlement, if excavation work is going on, some vibration, huge machinery is being used, so that will also affect the building which are near to those to that site. So if the structure is ductile, then these things are taken care of. Okay. Now the limit state design procedure assumes that all the critical sections in the structure will reach their maximum capacities at design load for the structure. For this to occur, all joints and splices must be able to withstand forces and deformations corresponding to yielding of the reinforcement. Okay, one more very important thing which we have to consider is the joints of the structure. Okay, so the joints should be taken care of, and it should be such that the movements is possible. Okay, the joints should be ductile, and splices means curtailment of reinforcement basically. So these things we have to take care of in ductile design. So this is the significance of ductility. Now let us see what are the factors affecting ductility. So this is very important. What are the factors that affect the ductility? So ductility increases linearly with an increase in the shear strength carried by concrete. Okay, so ductility will increase when the shear strength of the concrete is more. Then the ductility increases with the increase in the ultimate strain of concrete. Okay, so with the increase of the ultimate strain of concrete, the ductility factor increases. Next, ductility also increases with the increase in the concrete strength. Okay, so you can understand from the first point itself, if the concrete strength is more, the ductility increases of the ductility of the structure increases. Next, this point is very important. The ductility decreases with the increase in the yield strength of steel. Okay, so pay attention to this point. Ductility, you will say if I'm using higher grade of steel, then my structure is very safe. So that is not in case of earthquake resistant design of structures. So here clearly you can see the ductility decreases with the increase in the yield strength of steel. Okay, why? Because when you're designing a higher yield strength of steel, that is Fe 500, Fe 550, so in that case the ductility will decrease. Okay, that will be less flexible, you can say in layman terms. ठीक है, जो माइल्ड स्टील है, माइल्ड स्टील क्या है, जल्दी बेंड होता है. ठीक है, उसका यील्ड इट विल यील्ड अर्ली एज कंपेयर टू दी Fe 500 or Fe 550. So in that case, when it is yielding early, that means the structure is able to deform and dissipate some energy, and hence the structure is saved when there is an earthquake. I hope this is clear to everyone. Ductility decreases with the increase in the yield strength. Next, the lateral reinforcement tend to increase the ductility by preventing shear failures. Okay, so this lateral reinforcement is very important as it increases the ductility of the structure by preventing the shear failure. Okay, so also ductility increases as the stirrups in the specimen increases. Okay, stirrups we are talking about in case of beams. Okay, in case of beams also, if the stirrups is more, then the ductility factor will increase. And lateral reinforcement, we are talking about the columns. So in columns also, when there is lateral reinforcement, it will increase the ductility in the structure. So I hope these factors are clear to everyone. the factors affecting the ductility of the structure. Okay. So now we have seen the requirements, the significance, and the factors affecting ductility. Next, let us see where is the necessity of ductile detailing. So where do we use ductile detailing? So ductile detailing is provided in structures so as to give them adequate toughness and ductility to resist severe earthquake shocks without collapse. Ductile detailing is provided for the following structures. So which type of structures? The structures located in seismic zone 4 and 5. Okay, for these structures, ductile detailing is very important. As you can see, the zone is very prone to earthquake, zone 4 and zone 5. Next, the structure is located in seismic zone 3 and has the importance factor greater than 1. Okay, so when the importance factor is greater than 1, and if the structure is located in zone 3, then also we will have to go for ductile detailing. Okay, next, the structure is located in seismic zone 3 and is an industrial structure. Okay, so if the structure is located in seismic zone 3 and if it is an industrial structure, then also we have to go for ductile detailing. And last, the structure is located in seismic zone 3 and is more than 5 stories high. Okay, so if it is located in seismic zone 3 and it is more than 5 stories high, then also we have to go for ductile detailing. I hope this is clear where the ductile detailing is required, in which situation or in which conditions. Okay, so now let us see what are the ductile detailing considerations. So now we have seen what is ductility, what is the importance of ductility, or what are the requirements and what are the factors affecting ductility. So after understanding this, now we can actually start with the design considerations, which is as per IS 13920. So the ductile detailing provisions are for the, okay, so these ductile detailing provisions, these are given for what? These are given for the anchorage and splices of the longitudinal reinforcement. Okay, splices is nothing but the curtailment, anchorage at the junction of the longitudinal reinforcement. Next, it is given, these provisions are given for the spacing of the reinforcement and anchorage and splicing of the lateral reinforcement also, and the joint of the members. So you have to understand these are the 4 parameters where ductile detailing provisions are given to us in IS 13920. Okay, so now let us see. First one is the general specifications. So this 5.0 is nothing but the clause number. So this clause is given in IS code. So I have written the same clause number so that you can refer the IS code also to understand the clauses. So these general specifications, first let us understand the general specifications. The first clause says that the design and construction of reinforced concrete buildings shall be governed by the provisions of IS 456-2000 except as modified by the provisions of this code. Okay, the first clause, what does it say? It says that the design should be as per the provisions given in IS 456. Now let us see what is the second clause. For all buildings which are more than 3 stories in height, the minimum grade of concrete shall be M20. Okay, so these are the ductile detailing considerations. Remember, the second clause, what does it say? Okay, minimum it should be M20 grade of concrete if the structure is more than 3 stories in height. Then steel reinforcement of FE 415 or less only shall be used. Okay, so this is very important. Third clause, the grade of steel which should be used for ductile detailing, it should be FE 415 or less than that, not more than FE 415. I hope this is clear to everyone. So now let me just show you the design code. Okay, so IS 13920, the previous code it was of 1993. ठीक है, जो IS 13920 है It was published in 1993 and it was reaffirmed in 2003. But we have the latest code of IS 13920, which is published on 2016. So let us see that. Okay, so here you can see this IS code 13920 1993. It was reaffirmed in 2003. But now we have the latest code, which is 2016. So here you can see the general specification, right? So this is what I was discussing. General specification, clause number 5.1. The design and construction of reinforced concrete buildings shall be governed by the provisions of IS 456, except as modified. And the second clause was, for all the buildings which are more than 3 stories, the minimum grade is M20, and steel reinforcement of FE 415 or less only shall be used. Okay, so these are the general guidelines. So this was the general specification. After this, we will see the specifications for flexural members. ठीक है, तो flexural members के लिए we will see the specifications. General है, फिर longitudinal reinforcement के लिए there are some specifications. So here you can see anchorage of beam bars in an external joint. ठीक है, so whenever a joint is there, a beam column joint is there, so in that case तो ये reinforcement कितना extend करना है column में. So here you can see from this point to this point the reinforcement should be LD plus 10 times dB. So what is dB? dB is the bar diameter. So remember this, ductile detailing में we have to follow these detailing considerations. तो ये जो bar है, this should go into the support. How much? LD plus 10 times, if the diameter is 20, 10 times 20. If LD is 900 mm, this is 200 mm, so this total length will be 1100 mm. Similarly, at the top also you have to extend the bar. That is LD plus 10 times dB. I hope this is clear to everyone. So next topic is flexural members. ठीक है, flexural members के लिए again we have these clauses. So basically these clauses are for the joint spacing. So I've just mentioned, and the curtailment. At what point to curtail and how much to curtail. So here you can see for flexural members, the first clause is the factored axial stress on the member under earthquake loading shall not exceed 0.1 FCK. ठीक है, जो axial stress है it should not exceed 0.1 FCK. What is the second clause? The member shall preferably have a width to depth ratio of more than 0.3. ठीक है, so this is important. The second clause. So whenever you're deciding the member, so you have to take care of this whenever you're considering ductile detailing. The member shall preferably have a width to depth ratio of more than 0.3. So whenever you're deciding the dimensions of the beams, columns, you have to take care of this. The width of the member shall not be less than 200 mm. And the depth D of the member shall preferably be not more than 1/4 of the clear span. Okay. And then we have longitudinal reinforcement. So longitudinal reinforcement, let us see what are the clauses. The first one is the top as well as the bottom reinforcement shall consist of at least 2 bars throughout the member length, and the tension steel ratio at any face at any section shall not be less than 0.24 under root FCK upon Fy, where FCK and Fy are in MPa or Newton per mm square. ठीक है, what is the next clause? The next clause is the maximum steel ratio on any face at any section shall not exceed 0.025. Then the positive steel at a joint face must be at least equal to half the negative steel at that face. Okay, so this is important. Remember, the positive steel at a joint face must be at least equal to or half the negative steel at that face. ठीक है, पॉजिटिव स्टील किधर है, तुम्हारा बॉटम में रहेगा एट द मिड स्पैन, और नेगेटिव विल बी एट द सपोर्ट एट द टॉप. ठीक है, so what they are saying, positive steel मतलब at the mid span it should be at least half of the negative steel. ठीक है, अगर तुम्हारा नेगेटिव स्टील टॉप में रिक्वायर्ड है, ठीक है, आई विल जस्ट शो यू what does this mean. So let us say this is your column. ठीक है, ये तुम्हारा बीम है. ठीक है, आई होप इट इज विजिबल. Suppose at the top the reinforcement is coming out to be 4 bars of 25. ठीक है, ये 2 bars है, ये 2 bars है. ठीक है, और यहाँ पे मुझे बता रहा है only 2 bars of 16 requirement as per the design. But now what they are saying, the positive steel, ये जो पॉजिटिव स्टील है एटलीस्ट हाफ ऑफ दिस नेगेटिव स्टील होना चाहिए. ठीक है, यहाँ पे मैंने कितना प्रोवाइड किया है, 225 और 225. ठीक है, 225 और 225 दो लेयर में प्रोवाइड किया है, और यहाँ पे रिक्वायरमेंट कितना है, सिर्फ 216 है. सो आई कैन आई प्रोवाइड लाइक दिस, नो. व्हाट दे आर सेइंग, एटलीस्ट इसका हाफ होना चाहिए, मतलब इधर मुझे इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा, तो यहाँ पे एटलीस्ट 225 प्रोवाइड करना पड़ेगा. इज दिस क्लियर एवरीवन?
Yes, sir.
ओके. Okay, so now what is the next clause? The steel provided at each of the top and the bottom face of the member at any section along its length shall be at least equal to 1/4 of the maximum negative moment steel provided at the face of either joint. It may be clarified that redistribution of moments will be used only for vertical load moments and not for lateral load. Okay, so this 6.25 clause is, I have just shown you for this figure 1, plus 10 times the diameter Okay, so basically you can remember the requirements. The first one is general specification. So in this we have some clauses, and then for flexural members we have some clauses. So after flexural members we will have some clauses for compression members also, correct? तो फ्लेक्सुरल मेंबर्स में लॉन्जिट्यूडनल reinforcement के लिए there will be some clauses, and then afterwards web reinforcement के लिए there will be some clauses. Okay, and then for columns, ठीक है, मैंने क्या बताया था, कंप्रेशन मेंबर्स के लिए सिमिलरली यू विल हैव सम क्लॉजेस. पहले जनरल रहेंगे, फिर लॉन्जिट्यूडनल reinforcement, एंड देन सम फॉर ट्रांसवर्स reinforcement. Similarly, these are for the columns. And then joints of the frames. ठीक है, joints of the frames मैंने important बोला था, तो उसके लिए some clauses will be there, and then we have some clauses for the shear walls. ठीक है, so shear walls you don't have in your syllabus, So this will not be considered. You can just go through shear walls. So we can just consider the clauses for the general clauses, then clauses for the beams, that is flexure members, then some clauses for the compression members, that is column, उसके लिए भी longitudinal and transverse reinforcement के लिए. So these are some of the ductility detailing considerations as per IS 13920. Okay, so this IS code I have shown you, this is 1993. Okay, so the latest revision also I will show you. The latest revision is done in 2016. So here you can see this code is the latest code of IS 13920 2016. So here you can see there are some slight modifications from the previous code. Let us see what is that. So let us come to the fifth clause number 5 directly. That is general specification. So here you can see general specification clause number 5. I hope it is visible. So what is given here? So 5.1 clause, what it is saying, the design and construction of reinforced concrete buildings shall be governed by provisions of IS 456. ठीक है, first clause तो same है. ठीक है, now let us come to the second clause. So here second clause में there is slight change. The minimum grade of structural concrete shall be M20. ठीक है, so this we have seen, but it should be M25 for buildings more than 15 meter in height in seismic zones 3, 4 and 5, but not less than that required by IS 456 based on the exposure conditions. ठीक है, तो ये एडिशन किया है. Are you getting? The one which we have seen right now of 1993, उसमें सिर्फ इतना ही मेंशन किया था कि the minimum grade should be M20, but here they have included this part also. Is this clear, everyone? ठीक है, so second clause slightly modified in the latest code. Let us see the third clause. Steel reinforcement resisting earthquake induced forces in RC frame members and in boundary elements of RC structure wall shall comply with this. ठीक है, steel reinforcement used shall be of grade FE 415 और less. ठीक है, इतना तो previous code में भी दिया था, लेकिन इसमें सब clause add किया है. ठीक है, one more point is added. Of grade FE 500 and FE 550, that is high strength deformed steel bars produced by thermomechanical treatment process having elongation more than 14.5% and conforming to IS. तो इसमें criteria क्या है? This can also be used if the elongation is more than 14.5%. Otherwise, it should be 415 or less. ठीक है, so these are some of the modifications in the latest code. ठीक है, so here also you can see for the flexural members, the first clause is directly given by the ratio width to depth ratio of more than 0.3. ठीक है, so in the previous code one more clause was given, so that they have not mentioned. So they have just mentioned directly from the width to the depth ratio. Okay, so since this is the latest version, we will follow this only. Okay,